2002, Gamal Zayda worked as bureau chief of Al Ahram in Canada till 2007.
Later on, after 9/11 happened to the World Trade Center crash, one day the chief editor Ibrahim Nafi asked me to come and meet him in his office. So I went there, and he said, listen, you are a candidate to be the bureau chief and the correspondent of Al Ahram in Canada. It was a big surprise for me because, to tell you the truth, I have been to many countries worldwide, but I haven't been to Canada. So I have no experience whatsoever about Canada. And I hear that Canada is very cold and snowing most of the month of the year. So how can I go and live there? And I was expecting him to nominate me as bureau chief in Washington, D.C., where is the big events happening over there in Washington, D.C. And as you know, the Egyptian U.S. relations is very strong, and almost, the president goes and visits Washington, D.C. for negotiations with the Americans once a year. But finally, I have been advised from my best friends, accept the offer and go to Canada. It's going to be a good experience. And that's what happened. I moved to Canada, but the day before I fly to Montreal in Quebec, Canada, I was invited by the Canadian ambassador to Egypt, Michel de Salaberry, at his house next to my house here in Zamalek. And he said, listen, we have dinner. We have a guest, the Minister of Immigration of Canada. So I said, okay, this is a good opportunity. And I asked the ambassador to arrange an interview with the Minister of Immigration. I went, I interviewed her. She was a lady. And the day I flew to Montreal, the interview appeared in Al Ahram. That was first piece I wrote about Canada from Cairo. It was I was lucky, to meet her and to talk with her about the problems of immigration to Canada after 9/11, and what about the prospects of the Egyptian immigrants to Canada, how Canada accepting the Egyptians, and she told me a lot about how in Canada they respect the Egyptians, and we have a wonderful Egyptian community over there in Canada. So I started working there, and to tell you the truth, I arrived 14th of January 2002. Just 1 year, a few months after 9/11. I started working about over there and writing about the consequences of 9/11 on the Arab and the Islamic world. And I was focused to write, because I believe that journalists' main work is to do reporting, do interviews, do analysis, and do a journalistic work. Not to let the management work absorb you and you waste your energy and management work. So I started a fresh beginning in Canada. And before I leave, I forgot to tell you something. I was in Al Jazeera Club, and I used to meet Dr. Murad Ghalib, the former Minister for Foreign Affairs of Egypt and the former ambassador of Egypt to Moscow for a long time. I used to meet him in Al Jazeera Club early morning. So one day I was sitting with him and I told him, Dr. Galib, I'm gonna go to work in Canada. So the guy was very happy and he hugged me. I was surprised. Why Dr. Galib? I mean, he said to me, this is one of the best countries in the world. I told him why. Later, I found out that his two daughters are living in Canada. So he said to me, listen, today I'm gonna call my daughter Mona. She will receive you in the airport and you don't have to worry about anything. Oh my God. That's what happened. I mean, I found his daughter receiving me in Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport, and she helped me a lot. I have to say thank you, Dr. Murad Galib. God bless his soul, and thank you, Mona Galib. From there, I mean, I started discovering Montreal. What is Montreal? And it was snowing like hell. I mean, you see snow in the streets like that, unbelievable. So to know, I mean, where the restaurants to have my lunch or to have my dinner, for me it was very difficult. But after a while, I started to figure out a beautiful city, a beautiful country, a beautiful city, which is Montreal, which is the cultural hub for Quebec province and for Canada as well. And I started to know during summertime that the Hollywood celebrities, they arrive Montreal to shoot their movies over there because over there the sceneries are beautiful, and they are encouraging the Hollywood stars to come to Montreal to shoot their movies. And apart from that, the social life and the entertainment life. I mean, this is the entertainment city of Quebec and Canada, generally speaking. It's a beautiful city, architecture-wise. I mean, if you look at the photos, you will see a very, very nice city. When you see, I mean, the restaurants, the cultural diversity. I mean, let me tell you about the cultural diversity. And this is the Canadian policy since Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the ex-Prime Minister of Canada, because they have different ethnic groups in Canada. So he said since that time, we are not like the Americans. We are not a melting pot. We don't ask everybody to ignore his culture, his identity. I mean, be yourself. I mean, represent yourself. Cherish your culture. Cherish your songs. Cherish your costumes. Do whatever you want, but don't forget at the end of the day that you are Canadian. And everybody has to respect the law, and that's it. I mean, but in the United States, I mean, they ask you, I mean, forget about where did you come from, and you have to be proud of being American. This is the theory of melting pot. And I mean, from my point of view, I don't see the melting pot as a successful policy in the United States, because you see the discrimination against the Latino and the Mexican and the Indians and many other people in the United States, except if you are Protestant, Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you are most welcome in the United States, and you will have the possibility for social mobility and to be a billionaire and to be corporate America and to own big companies and you enjoy the American life. Otherwise, I mean, you have to work very hard, but I mean the social mobility will not be so easy for you. Over there, I have seen different cultures, not only the Egyptians working there, I mean, and by talking about the Egyptians, Canadians, we have a wonderful community over there. Most of them are scientists. I mean, wherever I go, I meet professors at the universities, Egyptians, and they always talk about Egypt. They love Egypt, and in every Canadian city, you meet Egyptians. In every Canadian city, I mean, you see churches, Egyptian churches, Orthodox churches. Yeah, and for example, during my time, I found out that there were 7 deans of faculty of engineering in different Canadian universities, Egyptians. Why? Because the engineering education in Egypt during Nasser's time was fantastic, fantastic. And Canada knew that, and that's why Canada welcomed the Egyptian engineers, the postgraduate students, and the postdoctorate students. And at the end of the day, the Egyptian community over there were the best, one of the best among different communities. With the when it comes to wealth and money, they come after the Jewish community. When it comes the education,